Hey, what's up, everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to get hit with the truth. So today, doing the recap from the DAZN Card that took place on Saturday, November 27th, main evented by Teofimo Lopez defending his unified lightweight championship of the world, or undisputed championship, lightweight championship, against George Kambosos Jr., the undefeated mandatory #1 contender from the IBF. And we'll get into the main event in a minute. I'm going to discuss some of the undercard, just a couple fights. We start with, I'm sorry, drawing a blank. We start with DAZN, undefeated heavyweight, on the rise. Kept it rolling, got another knockout victory over a little-known fighter. I think the guy's name was Craig Lewis. I could be wrong on that one, but he got another win on the undercard, another knockout as he continues to stay a prospect and hopefully move his, his record up more to where he starts fighting quality opposition. Because the heavyweight division's hot right now, so he might want to do that soon. Maybe this was the capper of his year. Maybe 2022, he can really start getting into top 15, top 20 opponents and stuff like that. All right, the co-feature. We saw Kenichi Ogawa dominate Azinga Fuzil to become the vacant IBF super featherweight champion of the world at 130 pounds. Ogawa was allowed to step into the mix when Shavkat Rakhimov had to bail out of another title attempt due to an injury. So Azinga Fuzil was slated to fight Rakhimov. Kenichi Ogawa was put in to that position, and I picked Fuzil to win the fight, and Ogawa dominated pretty much. I mean, he got it clean, one-sided, 12-round unanimous decision. Well, it wasn't necessarily one-sided. He scored 3 knockdowns in the fight, though, which definitely made a difference on the scorecards. I think a couple judges had it 7 rounds to 5, but because of the 3 knockdowns, that was a 5-point lead for Ogawa. But all that being said, by convincing decision, Kenichi Ogawa is the new IBF super featherweight champion. Now let's hope that holds up this time, because remember a few years ago he took on Tevin Farmer for the vacant, or for the championship. I think it was for the vacant title. He took on Tevin Farmer. He should have lost that fight. He got a gift decision, and then he tested positive for a banned substance, and the title got stripped from him. So now he is the new champion at 130, and let's see what he can do with that belt. It's kind of somewhat of a wide open division. You have Oscar Valdez and Shakur Stevenson are lobbying for a huge unification bout at the top. But other than that, the division's wide open, because you got guys that, a big turnover at 130 of fighters, and, guys that are contemplating moving up to lightweight, like Miguel Berchelt, or, who was champion, and he was the #1 guy coming into the year, so it's a big turnover in this division, making it a wide open division. So now that Ogawa's a champion, let's see what he can do with the belt. Maybe he takes on Shavkat Rakhimov later, early in 2022. Maybe he defends against him and really, push forward towards the top of the to the top of the division. Sorry guys, it's Monday, so I'm a little off. Towards the top of the division, and see what he can do with that world title, if he can start trying to unify belts and really make a run for it. But congratulations to Ogawa on the victory. Now we're going to discuss the main event. Teofimo Lopez against George Kambosos Jr., which, in all honesty, could be fight of the year. It could pass up Fury and Wilder for fight of the year in 2021. It really was a great fight. You had Lopez came out. This had become a very personal fight. These two guys talked a lot of shit to each other. They hyped the fight a lot, but there was a lot of fight date changes, and all that stuff. And it was a really hard fight to come together. And, them finally getting into it. Last week during the build-up for the fight, you had the two dads almost got into it at the pressers. And, so heading into the main event, you know, on this card, there's just a lot of bad blood. And Teofimo was out for that blood. He wanted to knock Kambosos out, and he came out fast and strong. Came right at Kambosos, looking for the knockout. And it looked like he was gonna, you know, get it. I mean, he really was hitting Kambosos with some big shots. But the one thing, and it ended up being the tail of the fight, outside of that one punch that that Lopez landed in the 10th that put Kambosos down. But even that punch, Kambosos did a great job of rolling his shoulder but keeping his head down. So those punches, those right hands that were hitting him, were even the one that landed hit him on the back of the temple, almost right here, you know, which can still be crushing, but as opposed to getting hit right here on the jaw, that could really just knock you out cold. You know, it was just a good defensive move that Kambosos was using all night long when Lopez was unloading those right hands. But Kambosos answered in that first round. A counter overhand right down the pipe, put Lopez down. Only the second time in his career. He got knocked down in the first round of the first fight of his career. And, you know, he came back and knocked that guy out in the second round, and that wasn't going to be the case with Kambosos. You know, Lopez seemed to find his legs in the second round. Really, I thought he did well the second and the third round, but the fourth, fifth, and some of the middle rounds, Kambosos really showed his mettle. He showed his heart, and but it was back and forth, and some of the rounds were close. And then, but he would not go away. No matter what Lopez did, Kambosos was right there, and he kept firing back. And actually, he was getting the better of Lopez. Lopez was landing a lot of, he wasn't landing a lot of flush punches because he was headhunting. He really was looking for one punch at a time instead of boxing and setting his punches up. He was looking for one punch at a time. To be honest, I know a lot of people are talking about weight. I don't think it had a lot to do with it. Lopez seemed fine. His stamina seemed fine. He just, you know, outside of not fighting in over a year, but it really was, I mean, the guy has not been taking the distance very many times in his career. I think, you know, Masayoshi Ito, or what was his name? Nakatani. I'm sorry. Nakatani took him 12 rounds back in 2019. Lomachenko did it in 2020, and now in 2021 he's went 12 rounds. But overall, he hasn't been 12 rounds a lot, and 12 hard rounds either, you know? So Kambosos just had the, you know, he had the guts and believed in himself, and, you know, was able to hold off Lopez from, and really drew Lopez into the kind of fight where Lopez was looking for one big shot. And in the 10th round, it looked like he might have had it. He landed a very flush right hand, as I said, to the back of the head that put Kambosos down in the 10th. But Kambosos came back, and he pretty much won the championship rounds. And then when it went to the scorecards, Kambosos got a 12-round split decision victory and is now the new unified or undisputed, however you want to term it, lightweight champion of the world with that win. I mean, that was a huge upset. I think it could be upset of the year. When I do my boxing awards at the end of this month, I think it's very likely that Kambosos gets upset of the year for beating Teofimo Lopez. It was just a great performance. But it was also a great fight. It really was a back and forth close fight. I wasn't able to score the fight all the way because where I was at with my wife, we were staying at a hotel, and the Wi-Fi wasn't great. The connection wasn't great, so I would get going, scoring the fight, and then it would cut out, you know, and load and load and load. So it wouldn't be fair for me to give a full scorecard, but I honestly thought, and what I was seeing was that Lopez was doing well enough, you know, in the early to middle rounds, outside of the knockdown rounds. And then Kambosos would win late in the round. He would win, you know, maybe the last minute by landing flush shots, counter shots. And he did a great defensive job against Lopez. I thought he did. I thought he defensively avoided that right hand. And again, he drew Lopez into his kind of a fight. You know, that's what I felt Kambosos did. He pissed Lopez off to where Lopez wanted to just go toe-to-toe and mix it up. And, and I absolutely feel Lopez was overlooking Kambosos in this fight. He never wanted to fight to begin with. It was a mandatory fight. And, he paid the price for overlooking an opponent. That's exactly what I feel happened. Maybe he didn't train as hard as he could have, and to get ready for the fight, him and his people, his dad, want to say it was because of trying to make 135 again. I don't understand why he would try to make 135 again if a guy like Kambosos was who he had to fight there. Why not just move up to 140 then if you're bitching about it? Because he says it's been a couple years coming. He's been meaning to do it for a couple years. Well, let's look at his last 2 years. He knocked out Richard Comey in the second round in a huge win and an upset. Then he upset Vasily Lomachenko. You're really going to sit there and tell me that it was because of the weight against Kambosos? No, I'm sorry. No, it just, I refuse to believe that's the excuse for why he didn't win this fight. He overlooked Kambosos, and that's plain and simple. And he paid the price for it. Kambosos was also better than we thought he was. Looking at his resume, it didn't look that way. But he was, and congratulations to him. And Lopez after the fight saying that he won 10 out of 12 rounds. Bullshit. He did not. That's a horrible, horrible score, by himself. To think that is just stupid. It was a close fight. It could have went either way. So there was no robbery that happened here. I don't think Kambosos would have necessarily been whining and crying about losing or calling in a robbery if Lopez won. But I think the right guy got the decision. The guy that did more, he had the effective aggressiveness was in Kambosos' favor, in my opinion. He went and took the world title, and congratulations to him. Huge upset, huge win. Great way to cap off the month, and a good way to end the year coming up, because we only have one more month of fighting, and Kambosos really made history. Again, this could be the fight of the year, and it could be the upset of the year. So, big win right here for George Kambosos. Tough break for Teofimo Lopez. He says he's moving to 140 now, but we'll discuss all that in the aftermath video of this fight. And that's it. That's the DAZN recap from Saturday, November 27th. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. True Boxing, you've been here with the truth.